start recording.
Okay.
Okay, we're good now.
Okay.
Who else needs to be co-host? Nan?
Yeah, so I can share.
Yeah, yep. Yep. So Nan can share.
Okay. I think we're good.
Okay. Okay, we're good. We do have 4 planning board members in the room. There's a sign-in sheet, so I won't say off who's here. There's a sign-in sheet. You'll get Joy to know who's here. On Zoom, we have Nan and Joy, and that's it.
Oh,
Um,
Pat,
Yes.
I don't think we've ever met in person.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, Pat, I'm Cheryl.
Sharon, okay, Cheryl.
I'm Nancy.
Nancy,
Think
yes,
about
Nancy. Marie, got it.
I'm Doug.
Doug,
Okay.
okay, great.
And Pat Brennan is an alternate on the planning board.
Yes.
Right. Right, and Tom let me know he wasn't gonna be here. I can't find it at the moment, but I think Chris sent me a text or something saying that he was traveling. And that's everybody that I know about. Okay. Anything, there's no public here, so there's no public comment for things not on the agenda. Is there anything that we need to add to the agenda? I mean, we're just gonna start with the red line where we left off. I have received some things from various people. And I see people have notes in front of them, so hopefully we can just jump in. Nan, do you want to bring up
Yep.
where we are?
Well, let's see, where are we?
We're starting with
6.1.
yes,
Okay, yep, that's where I
What
am.
is it now? The 6 point,
6.1. It's the Vulcan area
okay,
regulations. This is going to be things like setbacks and all. Well, some of it is relevant to the things we're doing, but some of it's not.
so will you do the use table later?
We did these.
We've gone through the use table once, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So I sent in a list of all the missing rows and they're still missing.
Missing uses,
Yeah,
for back to definitions that we had
the
added.
definitions, we added a bunch of nice new definitions,
Mhm.
but we didn't get those definitions into the use table
I mean, there are a few things
that are blank.
yeah, I'd have to pull up that email to see what those were.
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah, otherwise you're just looking right now. So we added accessory data center, for instance, and that's not in the use table.
Are accessory uses listed in the use table?
Yep.
Not currently, but we defined it in the new law, accessory and data centers. So
Yeah, maybe I remember adding the definition, but maybe it didn't get to the. All right, well, while I just add a line here while we're reading. Let's see.
My email?
Yeah.
Might have been going back to March. I think I sent it out before the March 5th ZAG and we never discussed it. I could have sent it for the February ZAG as well, I don't remember. Do you want me to look that up?
Oh, I'm gonna.
How are you connecting?
I have about a dozen things that are missing.
Don't go ahead and guess. It's locked. Yours is not locked. Says large, but I somehow went over it. Okay. Maybe if you go over it, you can check the page over.
Do you remember about when that email might have been sent?
Did you find it, Tom?
Oh, I thought I had it in front of me, but now let's see.
I'm trying to guess.
Would have been,
That's what it is. Also through it.
There we go. Oh,
See, that's how it goes to the history. I can't remember what the password was.
I will ask.
It's been on for over a year, I think, I remember. It seemed to be. Over a year. Sometimes it happens.
I'm saying March 5th, email,
yeah, that's
March 5.
March 5.
Okay.
Sign-in sheet is there.
But I could just read them out one at a time.
Yeah, it just so that I can cross-check it with that email. So other than the data center, what did you have?
So the next one in alphabetical order would be the agrivoltaic.
What was that? Oh, Agravo.
Agrivoltaic.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that gets a use
I
line.
mean, that's really, I wouldn't call that a use. It's really a solar farm. I mean, that's kind of a component of a solar facility.
Do we have solar facility on the list?
There's a whole solar section of the law that we're not reviewing in this, but
Okay. All right, the next one on the list was co-housing. Does that need to be in the use table?
Doesn't seem like a specific use category, does it?
Oh, yeah, I have a line here for co-housing, but I guess there wasn't any discussion. I didn't know where you wanted to allow it.
Right, that was what this meeting was to talk about, so. Difficult to be down at on the use table and look at the reference or the definition at the same time. So this was housing development where residents live in private, single family or multi-family units clustered on a single parcel or contiguous parcels with shared use of common facilities, such as but not limited to a community kitchen, dining area, meeting space, workshop, guest rooms, gardens, or recreational areas that are owned and maintained collectively by the residents through a cooperative homeowners association or singular legal entity. So.
I mean, so those would really be like a single family or a multifamily or some combination of that. I mean, if you want to clarify it to have it in the use table, I don't think it's an issue. I also see that campground is highlighted, that we didn't fill in where it was going to be allowed.
Yeah, but it looks like there's a row already for campground right above it. So I was wondering if maybe that go.
Oh, maybe that's it.
Yeah, I think you could get rid of that row. Yeah, that's fine. So for co-housing, would that be allowed in any area? Would you need a permit? Would you need?
Or is the idea to align it with, if it's single family homes, use the single family home use? And then most co-housing would fall under the multi-use,
Yeah,
multi-family housing use?
right.
So what if it was like a nursing home or, assisted living? Would that be the multifamily, or would you need a separate category for that?
we're not talking about a nursing home.
No, that's in another
We're talking
category.
about co-housing.
Okay.
That's a different, like a health facility is like a nursing home or a assisted living facility. Those have different definitions.
Got it.
This
Well, I mean, you could
This would be like
also,
an eco village kind of thing, right?
yeah, you could also
Good one model,
include
yeah.
it, like you could say here, dwelling, single family, comma, including co-housing, or, you could add that as a note, as a footnote, or you could add it as its own row if you want to. Or you could add something in the definition saying that co-housing is allowed wherever, wherever that particular housing type is allowed.
So, yeah, so
Yeah.
like the multifamily up there, you need some SPRs. And it's not allowed in the first NR region. But for singles, I guess it's permitted, but not in the last two columns. There's X's there.
Yeah, that's
Well, that's 'cause
mixed
those
use
are
commercial and light industrial.
Commercial and light
You
industrial.
wouldn't have,
You wouldn't want them there.
right, so I think you kind of follow one of those rows.
Well, if it's alphabetical though,
No, what I'm saying is you grab those inputs and put it in to the empty.
oh, yeah, but they're all different.
Yes, we gotta decide which row we want. Do we want it more specific or more flexible?
I mean, think about it that as a use, what is it that you would be reviewing and permitting differently than a single family development or a multifamily development or a mixed development that might have some multifamily and some single? So how does co-housing, what is it about the use of a co-housing that makes it different from any of the others?
Right,
I kind of like the idea of putting in the definition that it follows the use that is appropriate with what's being built. So if they're building multifamily co-housing, then it
Yeah,
follows
then it- yeah.
multifamily housing. If it's
Yeah.
single family housing, it follows single
I
family.
kind of like that.
That
I
makes sense.
think
to
that's
me.
probably better than trying to do. a
So
whole
just
use
add a
definition.
sentence to the definition.
Right.
Okay.
That says it follows.
Yeah, if it's a single family, it follows dwelling, comma, single family, and if it's multifamily, it follows the use for dwelling multifamily. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
That's
Okay.
that makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
Rather than doing a whole separate line for use, because I don't think we need multiple co-housing. use
No,
lines.
I agree.
So,
So we did skip over the accessory data center. We didn't fill those blanks in, right? Yeah.
Right. Correct.
So what do we want to do for?
Accessory data centers only in mixed use commercial and
So we
it
want,
doesn't
That's where the predominant business use is, but not always. Maybe we could have businesses in some of the other districts.
so we don't have any businesses, I don't think, in NR.
I don't know what really the original intent was in allowing
even
accessory data
Congress.
centers.
So an accessory data center
the idea was if they were just setting up a data center to support their business.
to support their business, right, so it would be in the business section. The light industrial only.
Oh, not in the mixed use commercial?
Well, I would think mixed use.
Yeah, it
commercial.
could be in both of those, but not the others. So
Yeah.
I think it's 4 X's and 2
If somebody wants us
Ps.
to put a business in a rural residential area, that's SUP, right?
Let's see if there's a
I guess it
professional,
depends on the business.
professional offices would be by SUP, yeah. Whereas they're permitted by right in the mixed use, commercial and industrial.
I would put it the same as office business.
So align it with the professional offices.
So line it
Yeah.
with professional offices. Does that make sense? Are professional offices allowed in neighborhood residential?
Yeah.
No,
No, it's allowed, professional offices are allowed in rural residential and rural agriculture.
with SUP, yeah.
With SUP.
Yeah.
And then the other 2s are just Ps.
Right.
And SV is,
Not allowed in
Conservation.
conservation or NR.
yes,
Yeah, okay.
So is
think
that
we
what
have-
you want?
yeah, follow that
Yep.
road, Ann, that looks good.
Yep. Everybody okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
A question for you. I sent you, are we done with it? I don't wanna.
Well, she's got
We're
more.
done with
but-
that.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
And we decided agrivoltaic is already
It's already
covered.
covered. Which is not a section that we're doing in phase one. The solar law is not what we're doing in phase one.
The next one was this dedicated use BESS building.
What was it?
The battery
Dedicated-
storage,
Dedicated
Oh.
use BESS building. That has its own definition.
That might be down where the rest of the solar stuff.
Is that gonna be the same as the BESS?
No, so,
Proposing a best,
Level two?
so I guess it should go into the use table, so where it's
Yeah,
allowed.
so we are-
allowed
we are-
everywhere.
we haven't done it yet, but we are, part of this phase is to work
Right.
on a best.
And
Yeah.
May is a nice sort of presentation at the planning
Yeah.
board meeting, I think.
and if you see that what we have currently in the use table for solar energy is really just a reference to the section. So the rules for that is actually in that section.
I think for the use, put a row in, but we can't fill it in until we do that section.
Mhm.
Right.
We
And-
can't fill in
Right.
where they should be until we do
Oh,
that
okay.
section where it's public.
So you want
I'm just
Maybe
gonna put
clear.
it back up in, we have that here, best, tier one
Yeah,
system.
Oh, there.
tier two
this
system.
one's called dedicated use BESS building is a separate definition from the tier one and tier two systems.
Yeah, because those are a component of a battery energy storage system. They're not a standalone thing. It's the building that if you have a building as part of a battery storage, that's why the definition is in there.
Oh, so it's covered under the best section.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, it's not a separate.
It's not a
okay.
separate use.
Alright.
No, it's not a separate use. It would be part of that. And yeah, I think that maybe we ought to yellow highlight these because you haven't really decided yet. I
Correct,
don't think you've decided yet on all of these.
right.
Cool. All right, the next one I had in alphabetical order is group home. I think that's a new definition. So we need to put that in the use table.
We didn't have a use for group home. I thought that was.
It was-
all
Let me see.
Well, the way group homes are defined, I have to go back and look at the definition. They're usually defined as a single family home.
Says it's a dwelling unit licensed or certified by New York State that provides long-term supportive residential living.
Yeah. I've never seen a multifamily group home.
So
They're
it
always
does,
single family homes.
and it does have an ending sentence that says a group home shall be deemed the functional equivalent of a single family
Yeah.
dwelling for
Right.
zoning purposes.
Right.
So we don't need to.
We don't know that.
Okay, the next one's my favorite, the new one called junk. Do we just put X's everywhere all the way across? We don't want junk anywhere in Dryden, do we?
Well, there's junkyard, and I think.
And that's separate.
Yep, that's got a line on it.
Yeah.
Junk is a property maintenance issue that I don't know that we can put it into a use category.
Well, and also if there's something so essentially the way the law is written, if something is not listed in the use table, it's not allowed.
Yeah,
Right.
Okay,
So I think
as
that
long as,
How did you define junk?
oh, we got it on there, it's already, you
What's
can go
this
read about it. Oh,
That's
it's-
a whole process in and of itself.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
go read it, it's quite good,
It's quite.
that's why it's my favorite now. Okay, next one is, I don't think this one's a use either, loading berth.
Yeah, that would be,
Use-
yeah. I don't think, I mean, you never have a loading berth that's just a loading berth. It's just part of a.
It's associated with something else, okay.
Right, yep.
And then there's pod, which I think you did put a row in, Nan, and left. it
Yes, I
blank.
just saw that.
So we gotta fill that one in.
Yep, that needs filling in.
And that's portable on-demand storage, and it talks about it not being permanent. Now, what does that mean?
What,
Can somebody put a pot in their yard for 3 years? Is it permanent yet?
Hmm.
We didn't put that in the definition. So I don't know how.
Does the definition have any timeline to it?
No, it just says not permanent.
Which means.
I
not
think,
on-
yeah, I mean, I think that you bring up a good point.
What if the foundation was there originally? And you
Yeah.
could have plopped it on
well, it's not so much that it's on a foundation. I mean,
Yeah,
it's really,
It's a
they don't have to
container.
go on a foundation.
no, it doesn't have. to.
No, but if it's a container and they start
What's the
building
difference?
building it in or something,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
lots of things you could do to make it
Yeah.
permanent, right?
What's the difference between a shipping container and a pond?
Well, this doesn't say shipping container. This is
Well,
for moving.
Pod is.
But those are common too.
I know,
Yeah.
we have shipping
I think
container.
we might need to address that.
Because they get used on sites for
For
storage,
I
for
think-
construction phase.
For the sake of trying to move through things, I think we need to do a little research on pod. Just maybe look to see what others are doing on it and
Okay.
get some ideas about what to put in there, like
It's
Okay.
how to,
beef up
define
the
it.
definition. If it says not permanent, what does that mean?
yeah. Cause I mean, you could use the same, it'd be, to me, a pod is not a whole lot different than a dumpster or a shipping container.
Well, if
Right.
it was permanent.
Well, the pod is
the
really like,
structure,
you
wouldn't
know,
that-
it's like a
wouldn't it be
Kleenex,
something
you know,
else?
it's the name of a company that uses
Yes, it
shipping
is.
containers.
I mean, pods really are a specific type of shipping container.
Yes.
That's
Portable
really what they-
on-demand storage. Yeah.
But, I think we need to do a little,
It should probably read pod space storage,
Right,
because that's what the definition says.
yep,
So you're talking about it as it's being used as a pod. But if somebody wanted it to be a permanent structure, wouldn't there be a way to?
it would be, it would.
You called it a shed.
It would come under the definitions of accessory buildings and.
And you can do it that
And
way.
structure, you could do it that way. This is talking about non-permanent.
I realize what it is, but then I hear you talking, you know, you're trying to say, what if it's permanent?
Right.
And if it's permanent, they should
Right.
acquiesce to whatever the,
If it's permanent, then if it's gonna be permanent at all, if it's used as a building, then it's a structure. If it's more
Right.
than
144 square
Right.
feet.
then it's considered a structure.
Whatever district you're in, you can only have an accessory.
44 square feet,
Mhm.
right? God.
What's that?
What if something less than 144 square feet?
It's not considered a structure.
Then it's just a box. That you would have on your yard,
Yes.
and it originally was meant to be a pod or something, but it's a structure now, and except it's not a structure,
Yeah.
it's just there.
I wouldn't capitalize all the letters in storage. You know,
oh, sorry,
it should
I
be-
didn't realize I had
Yeah,
my.
that's fine.
So are we grouping shipping containers in the same
I
definition?
think we're taking,
I think they
I
need
don't-
to be.
And should you
Yeah,
even
define them.
use the word pod if it's actually
a name.
a name of a
Right.
business? It's like saying Reynolds Wrap instead of.
Yeah, there's no shipping.
Right, right, it's really storage,
Yeah,
it's temporary
It's
storage.
temporary storage
Container.
and I would use shipping containers that are. The thing about shipping containers specifically is that they have been used as structures and we've done site plan reviews where we have. Shipping containers that are being used as structure. But again, that's different. Then they get grouped in with structures and they have the same setback and all the accessory use and all that stuff. This is talking specifically about. But is this a use?
Well, it's like who can have
Well, you kind of
a.
control it as a primary use, is that the intent here?
Well, I think it's normally called out because it's been a very problematic kind of
Right.
accessory use. It's like you said, could be a structure, it could be used by different people in different ways. And people have objected to these various storage things coming in and becoming a permanent part of the landscape. So that's why it's been pulled out differently than any other accessory structure that might be on a parcel.
So are they objecting because they think it looks too utilitarian?
No, I think that I think there are some people that just object to having storage pods in people's front yards sitting there permanently.
And also, if they're dropped temporarily, they don't necessarily align with setbacks and all that stuff. Right?
Mhm.
If you-
Yeah,
if you have a
all
pod drop,
around.
it doesn't matter if it's 10 feet from the property line or in the front lawn, all of those things that are defined for structures, they can't be closer to the road than so much and all those kind of things. They don't apply to these sort of temporary things that get
On the
dropped.
other hand, if you put in the application and say this is now my shed,
Then,
Yeah,
And
once
then
we
it
see one
has to-
being permanent, then we need.
yeah, but
you-
well, how does it go from, the question becomes, how does it go from being temporary to permanent?
Right.
That's not permanent, I just got that temporarily.
well,
Been
if
there
that's what
3
you want to
years, but I
say,
just got it temporary.
maybe you want to say it's permanent.
Well, they're commercially made for the most part, so it's,
Right.
I see they're called portable storage containers. If we want to get away from a pod,
yeah,
as we
portable
said,
storage
is like
containers,
a
yeah.
brand name. So we probably don't want to use portable on demand.
Mhm.
Right.
So we should call them portable storage
Portable
containers
storage containers, yeah.
and define them as we have. But, and that would add, I mean, that would include, to me, shipping containers.
And
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah,
rather than just saying they're temporary, put a time limit on the
Yeah.
definition of temporary.
Oh, so we got to define temporary.
Well,
I mean-
that's
Yeah.
a suggestion
You have
as a way to address the issue.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you're gonna
Not more
allow
than
them temporary,
3
you should
months?
put days on.
probably 6 months.
Hmm.
Sometimes people take a while to move.
Or well,
how many
okay, if
days?
somebody's doing a major
Action.
renovation of their home.
Right, they might
And they
use a
want
pod.
to store
yeah.
their stuff, so
I
Why
would
not a
say
year?
year
A
max.
year.
1
A
year
year.
max.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Right.
I only have about 6 months.
So after a year, then it becomes a shed and then the building permit has to be.
Correct.
applied.
They need all- they need all of their stuff.
Move it to the backyard.
Slow. go.
Correct. They can't have it sitting in their driveway. They can't have it sitting in their front lawn.
Right.
Right.
Why
Because
not?
if you-
Couldn't the driveway give them enough setback?
Well, like, you can't put an accessory build you can't put a shed in your driveway.
Oh, I see pod.
Well, what if you
parking
declared that part
driveways.
not your driveway anymore?
You
It
can't put it
better be in the front yard. Accessory structures should be behind the front line of the house.
Right.
Okay, so you need to have.
Unless we want to, that's one of the
driveway
issues
for
that
that.
is being
Put it on. the-
raised during this rewrite.
she get a variance.
Well, there's probably about 6, well, in a bad year, we get 6 variances like that. For the ZBA. So
Yeah.
that's why the ZBA, I think, is proposing to change that. So you don't have to, so you can put accessory structures in front yards. That I think is the ZBA proposal.
So what kind of structures are they usually finding in the front yards?
Sheds, detached garages.
As someone who has a variance to put her shed in her front yard.
Hmm.
It was just because you needed it forward.
Yeah, it's more than 75 feet from the street and the purpose of the shed is to store the snow blower, so we wanted it next to the driveway. That
Yeah,
was the only place to put it.
yeah,
Was in the front
sounds
yard.
good.
Most commonly, these are sheds like that or garages. Or accessory dwelling units. ADU.
Yeah,
Because they want mom to live in a little
Yeah,
thing in the front, off the driveway, right?
so I think one of the proposals by the ZBA is to get rid of that requirement.
Mom living in there.
Accessory structures.
You're like,
Accessory
move into
structures
the
are just
storage
ADUs.
or
Well,
chickens,
that's
like a
different.
chickens in the storage. container.
Okay. All right,
All right, the next one was, it just looked like it was missing, recreational facility amusement. But recreational facility athletic was there.
It's here.
It was motorized, but not,
Amusement is
Amusement.
here,
Yeah, it's here. It's
Yeah,
recreation
public
facility
utility.
amusement is in there
and recreation active.
oh,
and passive.
never mind. Oh, my bad. Okay. Recreational space, is that there? That's a new. Land specifically designed, designated, or improved for passive or active recreational activities within a residential or mixed-use development.
Wouldn't that be covered by the recreation active and the recreation passive, depending on?
Yeah.
yep,
So does that
I mean, we could add space in here, recreation space active.
A swing set.
I don't know.
I think it's covered under the other recreation thing.
Okay. In that row. Oh, yeah, religious institution, those are all SPRs, right? Special permit required?
No,
Site
site plan.
plan
Site-
review.
Oh, site plan review, okay.
But religious organizations can be anywhere, right?
Can they,
Yes.
Districts, yeah.
can they be in an NR region?
They can.
But the primary
That's-
use is
that's-
supposed
that's
to be a
law, right?
resident.
And we can't restrict them, right?
Group homes and churches, I think, are special categories that are
Right.
not allowed to be zoned.
Right,
out.
we can't zone them out.
Okay.
And you can't require them to be a special use permit because you can't regulate the use of a church. So the
Right.
site plan review is about all you can do.
But a nursing home is not a group home?
Correct. It's a health facility.
So, and going back to your recreation, what were you doing with this recreation thing?
What do you mean?
You're zoning recreation, but if somebody puts a swing set up in their backyard, is that?
No,
No,
not
I
recreation?
don't
Okay,
think-
how are you defining recreation that makes it different?
The park area,
this is.
It's a park area,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
thanks.
so playground.
It's land specifically.
Right.
designed, Designated or improved for passive or active recreational
Right.
activity.
And we already have
We
We already have passive and active recreation defined as uses.
Okay, there's a bunch of signs. Are signs allowed in all districts?
Well, there's a whole separate section in the zoning for signs.
For signs, and it's not part of this phase.
Okay. Well, regardless of.
Yeah.
All right, I think the other one that was, thought was missing, it could be wrong. Tiny home. Did that show up in the use table?
That's.
Are we making a distinction with single family?
There's a
versus tiny
definition
home?
for it, it's still a single family, so we cover the same.
So allowed in all districts.
Except light industrial and.
Oh, we got a single family homes there.
So if you have if you're in the NR district and there's already a house there, you could still put in a tiny home,
Then it would be an accessory, then it would be an ADU,
so just one.
correct?
Well, and then have we
But what
adopted
about-
ADUs as a second dwelling on the property? Is that?
Well, they're an accessory dwelling.
Yeah,
Putting a tiny home on an existing property, it would be considered an ADU, it wouldn't be a separate use.
Well, but if the tiny home is the only structure on the parcel, then it would be the principal use.
Right, but what if it's the second structure?
Then it has to be an accessory dwelling unit.
Then it would be an ADU.
And is that allowed in a
Mhm.
region where you have one septic tank per house, and now you're putting in a tiny home, you need another
It
septic?
would be covered under all the regulations that apply to ADUs, which means the septic would have to be designed to handle however many bedrooms you have. Right?
total.
Total. So in other words,
And then
and
the owner has to live on site.
the owner has to live on site.
So where does it say? I just trying to see, where does it say it's an ADU? Because it doesn't say that in the definition.
Well, a tiny home is not necessarily an ADU. A tiny home is a tiny home. It could be an ADU if it's the second structure. If it's the second dwelling on a property that has an existing dwelling, then it's an ADU. If you have a property that you're putting multiple tiny homes on, then it comes under the same category as multifamily, right?
And there was, yeah,
And if it's the only structure,
Oh, guys.
because you've got dwelling, threeplex, all that stuff.
right. So in other words, a tiny home is just a type of home, but it's depending on how it's being placed and how it's used, it's covered under these other uses.
Okay.
And if it's on wheels?
Oh, dear God.
Well, then it's not a structure.
Wheels isn't a structure.
Yeah, it's a camper.
Then it's a camper.
or yeah, camper or
Then it's a
recreational
recreational vehicle.
What?
Um,
And what's ADU stand for again?
accessory
Accessory
dwelling
dwelling
unit.
I don't see accessory dwelling unit in our definition.
Frank's being attacked by our birds, I think.
Oh, spring attacked by a bird. Um. I guess what I'm trying to say is I don't see tiny home as a separate use. Its use is gonna be determined by what the purpose of that tiny home is. If it's multiple tiny
Oh,
homes,
there it is, okay.
if it's multiple tiny homes being put on a single parcel, then it would come under multifamily housing, right?
As in.
or it could even be under
As
the
in
cottage,
shipping. Or it would be covered same as cottage, yes.
right?
If you have a property, if you have a house and you want to put one of these tiny homes on your property, then it's an accessory dwelling unit.
For your mother-in-law.
Right,
It's okay,
whatever, yeah. Yes,
and there's no permit or anything required.
they would need a building permit. And
Okay,
they would need a
And
building.
they have to
permit.
meet the
And they would have to meet the
regulations.
health department,
okay,
like they would have to, if they have a 4-bedroom house and their septic tank. Their septic system is only designed for a 4-family house.
right.
They would have to modify the septic system if they were gonna put a.
So I'm just trying
Yeah.
to show that, I mean, we have mobile home
Yep, yep,
or
yep.
that's a use in here. So I'm trying to decide, why is tiny home not in here? For completeness, if we have all the others in.
Oh, I'm trying to think why.
Well, a tiny home is a manufactured home. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be a manufactured home, but
Like a shotgun house. It's just a house that's small.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so, and people come up with this little name of tiny.
Well, it's the same as cottage.
Then
Cottages
it's-
are rows in here too. I'm just, for completeness, it seems like we're arbitrarily leaving it out when all the others are in there. But if I'm overruled,
We could. Put a row in and make it the same as cottage, but, because really a tiny home and a cottage are essentially the same thing, right?
yeah, but I don't think we have just a cottage here. We had the cottage, it was a clustered cottage development, which would be many tiny homes together on one parcel.
but five rows above that, you have cottage, cabin.
Yeah, but I think that's a different definition than an accessory dwelling unit.
The cabin is more of a use, that's a different kind of use.
Usually temporary.
Yeah.
Well, I'm thinking, when I think cabins, I'm thinking
It's
like,
seasonal.
I think the definition includes seasonal in it.
yeah.
Of course, that means
I don't know.
somebody's willing to live without heat.
Do we need another row? Or do we just need to put in the definition that it's treated the same
Treated as its proposed use.
as its proposed use?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that.
okay, let's do that,
Okay.
So that would be added to tiny home.
correct.
Okay, thank you. And then that may be similar for the next one I have, which is townhouse, which is also called out separately. which would then be also a primary single family dwelling, right?
We have dwelling.
We have that in here already.
That's already there.
Dwelling townhouse is here.
Oh, perfect, okay. And then. Okay.
Workforce housing was the last one on
Workforce,
the list.
yeah, workforce housing.
And again, that's a category that, you know, I think the structures and uses are already, all the different ones are listed. I'm not sure what workforce housing.
We have farm worker housing.
Yeah, but that's a separate category because that has references to state ag and markets law is treated as something different.
Okay.
The workforce housing, I mean, any kind of housing, whether it's a single family, two family, a townhouse, any of them could be workforce housing. That depends on the price.
Not really. Well, I mean, if we're gonna set out a goal to create more workforce housing, which we often talk about, we should have a definition that we agree on.
Well, let's see what we have.
And that's the HUD
What-
definition that we have in there now.
What kind of outcome do you want from your definition?
Okay.
I mean, we have a definition that basically says it's a dwelling unit that is intended to be affordable to specific income levels.
Okay. So it's not, I mean, the dwelling unit that complies with that could be single family home, a townhouse, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Could be
Could be any kind of dwelling unit.
Yep.
Yeah,
So we
what
don't
defines
need
it as
that.
workforce housing is more has to do with
Economics.
economics.
So why would it
Dan does not
be in the
agree.
regulations?
The key thing is that it's intended to be affordable. So we're trying to say, you know, we want this sort of housing to be within reach of people who are 80 to 120% of AMI.
Right, so that's not really in the use table.
Makes me think this is grapes of wrath.
Yeah, right.
I don't know how that would go in the use table.
Right.
So I think I'm done with that, but Nan, there's still in the definitions for data center. At the end of your definition, there's cottage. Kind of got lumped at the end. I think you gotta remove that. It was probably just a cut.
Well,
and
wasn't
paste
data
thing.
center completely redone by the,
Oh, it just is flipped.
Yeah,
the
we don't
line.
list data center on purpose, but the accessory data center is what we
right,
want to
So-
list on purpose.
But cottage, you'd have to move it up so it's.
Yeah.
alphabetical.
Yeah, I did. So did you, Ray, I didn't hear what you just said.
Oh, data center is not to appear on our use table on purpose.
Yeah, no, it wasn't for you.
But do you want it in the definitions? It's
She
in the
was missing
definitions.
carriage return and cottage was at
Oh,
the
in the
end.
definition.
Data.
Got it, okay.
So Ray, do you want the definition for the data center to be taken out?
No, I'm sorry, that we didn't want it in the use table, but the data center definition does
Okay,
state
gotcha.
definitions.
Okay. So there was one other that I had yellowed in for discussion in the use table, and that was, whoops. And I don't remember why this was added in. Hold on, my computer, there we go. The timbering on farm, which I'm not sure what the discussion was that brought that up. I mean, timber operations on a farm in an ag district are considered part of a farm operation, just like crops and livestock and other things. So
Yep.
I don't know. Do you remember, does anyone recall why that was added in?
I do not. I remember having a conversation about what it was.
Maybe just to affirm that it is allowed on farming operations in all districts. But that could probably be covered somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yeah,
What does that word, what does it say? Those
Tim-
Timbering on farm.
Oh, thank you.
yeah, I think we get rid of it. Cause it's covered.
Yeah, I mean, it
Covered
allowed.
it's covered under ag operations.
Yeah.
Yes.
So is there some distinction either in definitions, like back in timber operation, that we may have timber operation in the use table, but the timbering on farm would be allowed in all districts?
right. So the timbering operation is not, that would be just, someone owns a woodlot, they're not a farmer.
Oh,
That's
that
not
may
a
be
farm
why, that may
operation.
be why we called it out. But should it be in the use table or is it covered elsewhere?
And we're allowing in timber operations in all but 2 districts anyway. And industrial, there's no forest left in industrial. And so it's really only in the one district that has an SUP requirement.
So is that something that should be a discussion point with all the discussion right now about Trillium Woods? Is that an example of where we'd want something in there to be able to protect woodland? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Well, but timbering on, no, this is.
It won't be protecting Trillium Woods, no.
No. Timbering on farm is allowed. If the property's owned by and operated as a farm, they could cut it down anytime they want. They could do that anyway, even if they're not timbering it.
We can't change that with their zoning?
No, I mean, if
I
If
would
it's
think the ag community would strongly object to that.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a farm operation and someone wants to cut their forest down as part of a timbering operation, as part of their farm, that's protected under ag and markets law.
The definition of timber operation begins the on-farm production management, etc. So I think the two are redundant.
But you could have a timber operation that isn't on
On
a
a
farm.
farm.
Yeah.
And that happens actually not infrequently.
Correct.
So
Yeah.
Disagree with you, but that's.
this probably should be timber operation on farm.
Yeah,
Or
but then-
take out the on-farm production.
Yes.
Okay,
Is the production management harvesting, just take on farm out of there,
okay.
not on farm production, just on, yeah, there you go. But then we may,
Yeah, but
like,
then we have
then-
to,
then-
then we have to take out this. Cause that's related to the on-farm part.
or, well,
Right.
either you need to do that or there needs to be a separate line that is timber operation on farm. Like maybe just name this one timber operation on farm, and then you have another one that's just timber operation that defines as
Yes.
not on farm.
Not on
Yeah.
farm, timber
Yeah.
operation, not on farm.
I think you just need another definition for timber operation.
Okay.
This is on farm. And then there just needs to be, and you don't have to do it right now, but
Yep, I'm just gonna leave a
yeah,
placeholder
just
for it.
put a space for it. There we go. Just timber operation. And then in the use, it's allowed anywhere there's a farm, right?
Well, it's allowed anywhere. Requirement for an SUP in the rural residential district.
Good. What about NR?
So, and not allowed in NR.
Right.
What about conservation?
If we
permitted.
do some conservation thing, if there something where we might want to take a look at what they're doing, because timbering can be very
Right, but
invasive and
it's a farm
damaging.
operation, the way.
Well, no, but we aren't talking farm
No,
now.
I know.
We're talking other than farm. And
Go back up.
and I'm wondering if you might want to take a look at what the plans are for the timbering.
But then what
I mean-
parameters are we gonna apply to it? We're gonna put a whole section in our zoning about how to manage woodlots?
Well, I'm just thinking particularly things of setbacks from streams for when they have to make a logging road.
Oh, there's all sorts of.
There's all
different
sorts of
deadlines.
practices that it seems like, boy, if you're gonna be worried about junk in the front yard,
Mhm.
I'd be a lot more worried about this. Seriously. It should at least go to the conservation board, I would think, to just take a quick look. Quick look what they're doing, but you're not gonna look unless you can do something about something if you're trying to have some say, and I'm worried about subsequent runoff. I'm worried about damaging setbacks to streams. There are things I think we should consider about it.
So this is something that we can draft some ideas and bring into the phase two.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I'll get the conservation board to
Yeah.
do that, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not part of the phase.
But
Yeah,
it does align with maintaining the rural character of the community goals. So it seems reasonable to at least look at options for language.
okay, that's not part of this
Yeah.
phase.
What I would say.
Good. Is that it?
Well, so what did you, so if we have just timber operation, not part of a farm operation, then timbering on farm, do we take that out or do we fill this in as
It's
P?
allowed anywhere that farm operations are allowed.
So do we
It's
say
not-
that or do we say P?
It's X in NR and light industrial, right?
Well, there's SUP and light industrial right now, but it seems ridiculous since
Yeah, I
I
would
can't
say
imagine any
X.
woodlots and industrial.
Are there any farms in light industrial areas?
I don't think so. Look at the map now.
Well, your light industrial over by the airport is timbered. They're gonna be timbering that to be able to develop it.
Alright, so P,
Okay, right on the north side of Route 13. You're right. So there is woodlots.
So would that be
and
P or
light
SUP?
industrial.
SUP.
but this is on farm.
It's zoned for light
Yeah,
industrial.
This is on farm,
Yeah,
Okay.
not just the regular timber.
not just regular timbering. This is on farms. There's no farms in light industrial. But even if there were, it would be permitted.
On farms, yeah.
Yeah, so it's an X, and the other one would be,
I think the only one where it's not permitted is neighborhood residential.
yeah,
And you said SUP for rural, no, farms.
Yeah, I'm just reading off the timber operation line, the SUP. But yeah,
But-
it's on farm.
But if it's on farm, it's
Yep.
permitted anywhere a farm is permitted,
Mhm.
right? So it's gonna be P across the board.
Is that a universal rule or is that specific to? town
Yeah,
district?
That comes from New York State Ag and Markets
New York
law.
State Ag and Markets. Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes to farms, much of it is ag and markets and the town doesn't have a whole, like, in fact, there's a state law that says the town can't put, what do they call it, undue burden, zoning we can't put undue
Unreasonable
zoning,
restrictions. and
unusual
like that.
restrictions on it.
I find that to be unfortunate.
I know, but I'm just telling you, that's the way it is.
Yeah. The state's given great deference to agriculture.
Right,
I'm not sure that we can even put an X in the neighborhood res column.
yeah,
because
'cause is there a
there are
farm?
farms?
I don't think there's farms in neighborhood res.
Do you know if there's any farms in neighborhood res districts anywhere?
I'm not familiar as to where all the res
Yeah.
districts are.
Okay.
I mean, I'm in neighborhood
I think it's
residential, but
close.
it's completely, the farm part of it is completely surrounding us.
right.
But you could just put a P in there anyway, because it would be.
Yeah.
It
You
would
might
be,
as well just put a P in
yeah,
there.
it's permitted anywhere that there's a farm.
Okay.
All right. All right, is that it for definitions?
I think so.
Okay. Chuck sent, and I hate to keep going backwards.
Okay.
um,
Forwards.
Forwards.
Forwards. It's always forwards, even when it's backwards.
This, is this something we've already done or something, is this a section we've already done or a section that's coming up?
Well, I hope it's coming up. I want to bring it up. At the end of our last meeting,
Yeah,
Nan kindly said that she would look around the state, the other jurisdictions, to try to find examples for or of incentive or bonus mechanisms used with developers to increase housing in conservation subdivisions. And so I was looking forward to that, and consequently I read through what you attached one more time. I found a couple of typos, but more important to me is I felt the takeaway from our last meeting was essentially that conservation subdivisions are a massively important designation in Dryden law, and that we included them in phase one for good reason. And so, Nan, I didn't see anything that indicated that you had amended the draft that we looked at last time to include any kinds of housing, multiple forms of housing and how they could be integrated into conservation subdivisions. And I wondered if you found anything, because I didn't find it in your draft.
Yeah, no, I didn't send anything. But you know, conservation subdivisions can be any kind of housing, whatever the district allows. If they allow multifamily, you could include multifamily, you could include single family. I mean, it doesn't talk about it. The conservation subdivision is a siting tool. So if the other kind, whatever kinds of housing is allowed in that district would be allowed in a conservation subdivision.
Right, I get that. And
Chuck, was this along our lines of our housing committee discussion the other day where we're trying to incentivize by making it a quicker process to get through a conservation subdivision if it had certain qualities that were pro-housing? Is that the gist of
Well,
it?
yeah, the incentives for that are usually a density bonus. So, you know, like a lot of communities offer density bonuses for senior citizen housing or affordable housing that meets certain criteria. You get X number of more dwelling units in that development, whether it's a subdivision or more like a one parcel with multiple buildings on it that's done in a conservation design. So you can streamline it, although that's kind of hard. It's hard to find ways to streamline and still have all of the things adequately reviewed. But density incentives are, lots and lots of places have density incentives.
I looked around the state trying to find what we asked you to find, and I came across what you generated for Hamilton, which was, I thought, outstanding in terms of how we could have open space protection, farmland protection, all the other things we want with conservation subdivisions, and explicit advocacy of diverse housing types and affordability. And you said it so well, Nan, and I don't understand why we're not including language like that in our own 240.
Well, so you absolutely can add incentives like that, but it really is a density issue. So it wouldn't be in the conservation subdivision section. It would be somewhere else in the zoning law. You certainly could add in density bonuses if you wanted to. There's no reason not to. It's a policy decision of the town to make.
Well, however we do it, right now, our conservation subdivision law, and as I think we recognized in the several ZAG meetings we've talked about it, it's really prominent. And I think that's why you advocated that we look at it in phase one. Right now, we are virtually silent on housing. And I think it's important that we not create the impression that this is a thing apart, and that we, especially given what the comprehensive plan says about the importance of affordable housing, that we want to mention it in this part of our law and make sure that it is not left out. The town keeps rallying to this very important standard and thing that we feel is so important and we've been saying it since 2005 in our comprehensive plan. We just emphasized it more in the current plan, and I don't think it should be left out, however we want to say it, whether it's bonuses for developers or other mechanisms, but right now, there are 7 purposes mentioned in the conservation subdivision. I think we should add 2 more, and I sent those to Tony.
Yeah, I have them in front of me. You want me to read them?
Please,
Yep.
you know.
So his proposal is to add number 8. This is under 249-1, which is under purpose. Promote mixed income housing options within conservation subdivisions. And 9, incentivize developers to include affordable housing using density bonuses. So this is just adding these statements to the purpose in 249-1. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, those are great, but then we have to have the how we do that. The
Right.
details have to be in maybe not in the conservation subdivision section, but in the because it's
In
really a
Fulton area.
dimensional thing. We
Isn't
find a
this the-
place in the zoning for it.
Right, but doesn't the other pieces of it, like, don't the density bonuses, isn't that under the area and bulk?
Yes, that's normally
regulation?
where the density.
Which is what I
So-
wanted to start with tonight.
Yeah, so just so that you know, Chuck, the density bonuses, the incentives are authorized through a totally separate, different state law. And there's a process that's required to, if you read Hamilton's, you'll see that there was a whole process that is required to go along and give density bonuses. It's not just a quick, sure, we're going to give you a density bonus. There's more to it than that. So it normally has its own section near the use table in the dimensions.
I'm fine with that. I just want acknowledgement in the conservation subdivision that we're not leaving it out as we strive to have open space and protect it. And the several examples you gave in the Hamilton case, I assume you were talking to their town or city leadership, were really terrific. They made the point that we could have more units of affordable housing and our conservation, not either or.
So
Yeah.
what does that mean if we add these 2 purposes? Then we just need to make sure that we address. I mean, promote mixed income housing options within conservation subdivisions as a purpose. Is there other things we need to do with that? No, right?
No, that would just, I mean,
Yeah.
we could add a sentence
It's-
that just clarifies that any type of housing is allowed in a conservation subdivision.
Right.
But the 9 with incentives with density bonuses, that would be, you'd have to figure out what do you want to incentivize, how much of a bonus you want to give, and then the
Yeah.
process to give it.
So don't we just cross-reference that then back to the zoning, bulk density or whatever that?
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll spell that out.
Okay. So everybody's okay with adding these 2?
I'm having a little problem here, though, with the conservation subdivision. We generally are not dealing with municipal water and sewer. Correct?
Oh, they
Right.
can.
So how are we, very rarely, if we're talking about the one on Ed Hill?
Well, now,
There can't be any density bonus for that because we can't have more density based on the water and sewer and available. And this issue of density as a bonus has come up when we've talked about projects in Varna. And where there's a limit on the density and developers want more density, and we have a threshold that we do not allow, but if the developers, if we give them this bonus perk of more density in return for something else, then the project gets approved.
Well,
So
I think-
I'm having trouble understanding why density would apply to conservation subdivisions.
I think you need to. If you think specifically about the Ed Hill Road
Yeah.
project, that project could be a lot more dense, even under our even without a density bonus. Because they're talking 30-acre lots, 10-acre lots. They're not talking about 2 acre lots. Cause really in a subdivision, you could break a subdivision up into a minimum of 2 acre lots.
But that's what we want.
I know,
That's what I want, sorry.
So
But let him finish. I just want to get your point here. So you're saying that in that sense, if we say 2 acre lot,
so in this particular project, the developer's not gonna want a density bonus.
but we don't
Because,
want just the opposite. We want an open space bonus in that particular, at least me, I'm speaking for myself, on that particular project. I want an open.
but that goes
space
against the
bonus.
housing. The open space bonus goes against the housing priority.
When the conservation subdivisions were first proposed and defined when Dan was here, that concept was it was a concept of dense places, suburbia. And then the conservation part was that you were trying to keep more green space while having as dense a package of housing as you could get. But when the conservation board is talking about a conservation subdivision, we're talking about trying to conserve the open space as the primary thing, rather than this idea of having housing and just making it as dense and packed as we can get it.
I suppose.
So because the original one was you would have a lot and you could conceivably, with the minimum lot sizes that the town had said, which was 2 acres, I think, right? You could have 15 houses. Well, we'll let you build 16 houses if you put them on the 1 acre lots. And then you'd have this green space left from it. So that was sort of how they were talking about it originally. And I hear, when you guys are talking about it, I hear sort of conflicting views of thinking of it in terms of maximizing housing versus our view of keeping the space green and having some housing.
These are two goals. They're defined goals for this town. We need more housing. We want to preserve open space. That's our balancing act. So it's not like one gets priority over the other. We've got to figure out how to achieve both of these things.
Right, and
Yeah, I mean,
if you read the
that
purposes
also,
of this
that also
section,
is not, you can't just look at it one parcel at a time. That's really where you look at holistically and looking at hamlets and areas that have infrastructure and that are appropriate to be denser versus areas that really should not be dense. So
Right.
that's where looking at it as a whole town, I think, is where that balance comes in, because some places are appropriate for more density and other places are not.
So I guess what I was starting to say was that if you read the purposes of 249.1, it lists all those things because it talks about, listing out all the natural, conserve open land, including areas containing unique and sensitive natural areas. And it goes on and on. Talks about creation of trails and pathways and greater design flexibility and conserve a variety of resource lands and goals as established in the town's comprehensive plan. Protect agriculture areas, create neighborhoods with direct physical access to open land. So and protect the town's rural character. What Chuck is asking is to add the additional priorities of mixed income housing options, promoting them with it. That's a purpose of this, is to promote mixed income housing options and to incentivize development. So not every conservation subdivision is going to be appropriate for a density bonus, right?
Right.
Right, yeah, I agree with that.
But his mixed housing fits right in with the idea of creating neighborhoods.
It does. And if you think about the Ed Hill Road one specifically, that one, that's a conservation subdivision that's not really,
There's no neighborhood.
well, and it's in an area where you're not really trying to put neighborhood
Right,
housing, right?
right, yeah, exactly.
But So,
but the next.
this is the hardest part with this whole conservation subdivision law, right? Is because if we're trying to, and I said this at the end of that, or as part of that meeting the other night, was that, if you think about the comprehensive plan, there are these which can at times be competing priorities. Or conflicting priorities, right? If you do one, it's not good for the other. If you do the other, it's not good for the one, right? So it's. I guess trying to figure out how to put this in here. I guess I don't see an issue with putting it in as a purpose, but we need to define what's gonna get complicated is how we define these density bonuses and when they're appropriate. If we want to add this as a purpose. I think 8 is fine. I think 8, having 8 in there as a purpose is fine. 9, I think it's fine to have it in there. We can have it in there, but if we're gonna have to spend some time
Something rather than just have a.
working on the density bonus piece of that, or the density piece of it. Because like I said, even in a conservation subdivision, if there's no public utilities, you're talking 2-acre minimum lots. So if you've got 200 acres, you could put 100 2-acre lots on it.
So can you just say where appropriate on the bonuses?
Using density bonuses where appropriate.
Yeah.
But we still, if we have it in here, then we do have to spend some time on defining those density bonuses and all that. Okay.
So Chuck, do you think that it's useful as a group to look at the Hamilton example, to bring ideas from there? Would it be useful for this group to look at the Hamilton example to bring ideas?
I think it would. They're so excellent. There's a 20-acre and a 10-acre, and Nan might generate even a larger 100-acre or something. But I just thought it was outstanding.
Can somebody send those out?
We could distribute those. We can distribute those, right?
Okay. Nan, would you be able to send out a link to that Hamilton code?
And the slides that were used in the presentation.
Want to have a movie night with me?
Sorry about that. Yes, I will send you Hamilton's.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And then Chuck also had under H site design criteria.
Well, based on what we just said, I think
What's
that's
that?
probably irrelevant. You're referring to mine?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we should table that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the stuff you saw. Okay.
Thank you.
So now we're on to
The use or the bulk table.
the area and bulk table. Let's see. Do people have notes on that section? I'm gonna bring up, I did get
I sent you some that were mostly key details.
Cheryl sent me something and her name went out of my head. I hate when that happens. CBA. Janice. Why couldn't I come up with a name? Janice sent me. I was just saying she was with me here. I thought she sent me something else. Anyway, Cheryl said 2761. Minimum side setback, MC is 1 foot. Is 1 foot at the end of a typo. Mixed use commercial.
0 or 7.5 feet if buildings are not attached, and then at 1 foot. And to me, I'm interpreting the 1 foot as
Oh, if it's attached.
Okay.
If buildings are not attached.
There's some other places the setback.
Oh, I
is
wonder if
1
they're
foot
supposed to
also.
be 0 or 7.5 feet. And if buildings are not attached, 1 foot. I don't know if
Yeah,
this is-
I'm trying to
I
remember.
interpret it as it's 0 if the buildings are attached, 7.5 feet if the buildings are not attached, and that the 1 foot was extraneous, accidental,
Yeah,
whatever. Was what
Yeah,
made sense
the
to
one foot
me.
is attached to the accessory dwelling, the next line. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that 1 foot should be deleted at the, right
Yeah,
after attached.
okay.
And the same
Oh,
comment.
it's 0
applies.
if attached, whoops.
Is it 0 if attached?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's 0
7.5
or
feet. if
7.5
buildings are not
if
attached.
they're not attached.
Right, okay,
yeah,
got it.
and the same applies 2 lines down. To the
What's 2 line down?
side and rear setback for accessory building, but not an ADU, etc.
Minimum side yard setback,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, get rid of
So
the,
this one?
nope, the one right above it.
Oh,
0.
here.
Yeah, right, yep, that one. See the 1 foot's there, yeah, yeah.
But now you've gotta
Comment.
make the row a little deeper so you could see the rest after are not. It's not displayed. No more?
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah,
there you
there we
go.
go. Okay. 6.6.
Before you move on, I had a question when I did this way back when,
Mhm.
was you have had, this one is how you've had it. You've had 1 foot for side and rear setback for accessory buildings that are basically small. But I mean, 1 foot, I mean, is 1 foot enough to, like, for emergency access and things? It just, I don't know how that's working for you. It just seems awfully small.
Yeah, if the neighbor puts up a fence, then yeah, you've lost access to the backside. But these are presumed to be the small sheds.
Yeah. I mean, so maybe for, a small shed. I mean, you can't even get a lawnmower in there in 1 foot.
Yeah,
So my only point was, hey, if it's working for you, fine. But if it's problematic, then this is an opportunity to relook at it.
A person
Yeah.
can't walk through one.
How do we come up with that number?
I don't know. That's been in your
What was
zoning.
in there?
when you have small lots, people are really, they want to push the shed back as far as they can. But Nan's point is good that, getting around back, it's, especially if your neighbor puts up a fence, which when you have small lots,
Mhm.
seems to encourage
Yeah.
fencing, unfortunately. So, there's a little bit of a sacrifice of your encroaching on your yard because you can't push it back as far as you'd like.
Seems like it should be at least 2 feet, if not 3.
I would think 3 feet, a 3 feet would allow a person to move.
yeah.
Yeah,
What's-
that's a good compromise.
What's the norm, Nan? I mean, what do you typically see?
I mean, yeah, I mean, I've seen them at all different ones. I don't think there's a norm. Some people like, you guys, you want to maximize people's use of their lawn. Some communities don't care if there's a 0 setback. I think that maybe it's a 0 setback might be easier than a 1 foot, which is going to
Right.
be, you can't even hardly maintain a 1 foot space.
Yeah. I like the 0.
Are we
Well,
requiring somebody to go and check to make sure that they're mowing behind their shed?
I like the 0. You want to make sure that they know where their property line is, though.
Well, that's why I think we like the 1
Sometimes we
foot.
don't know where it is,
Right.
and then encroaching on your lawn.
That's
Well,
why
just
I'm
because
dealing
it's
with
1
that
foot
now.
minimum doesn't
So I
mean somebody
believe
has
it's
to do it.
I wouldn't say zero either.
No.
That leaves no margin.
There's-
If it's not gonna be zero, I'd want it at least 3 feet, so.
Three or
A
even
person,
five.
how are you gonna have the masked guy with a knife coming after you at night if you don't have this thing to hide?
Well, okay, that's a different objective. We're just saying there's a margin of error when people build.
3 feet. 3 feet.
I always encourage 1 foot as to take care of this, so you don't end up in a boundary dispute over a silly 6 inches.
Yeah, yeah, I guess I'm fine with it. I
I think
understand.
I'm fine with it. 'Cause I
There's
mean,
one,
these are these small little things, right? People like to put them right up to their property lines, right?
Yeah, just to maximize your backyard.
I mean,
when
if you
you're on
think
a small
about, if you
lot.
think about, especially I'm thinking primarily around neighborhood residential where you have small lots, like acre or less, 2 acre or less lots, or even smaller. You've got, I mean, think about the village, right? The village probably lets sheds right up to their property line.
I'm not sure what their code reads.
I mean, so I have no problem keeping it at 1 foot. I was just pointing
Yeah.
it out as,
Yeah.
No, I think that's
What
fine.
would be nice is if we have this split at 200 square feet, and I'm not sure what that. The history of that is, but building code has a cutoff at 144 square feet. So if we can align this with the.
We probably
building
should do
code-
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, the 200 square feet was what you had in there, but I think making it 144 makes sense.
I think,
Yeah.
I agree. Okay. So before we go on to Cheryl's did people
well,
have?
the next one I think probably needs to be changed to 144 too, to be consistent.
The next line, yes.
Yeah,
Because it's greater than 104, yes, they both need to be
they
144.
need to be
Yeah.
consistent.
Okay, got it.
Yep, scroll down, is there other? That one's going away. Did people see other issues in these? These are dimensions, right? Is this the dimensions table we're in?
Yes.
Do we need to define? And maybe we do it when we start looking at the BSS law specifically, but I'm assuming that's gonna be not in here, right?
Right, they'll have its own set of setbacks.
Got it.
Just like solar law has its own set of
Setbacks,
setbacks.
got it, yeah, okay. Yep. Maximum building height. All right, so everybody okay with everything there? All right, Cheryl mentioned in 2.6.6. Difference between two multifamily and multifamily entries is unclear.
Yeah, go down to the bottom, the the last line is single family, and then the next two both deal with multifamily. And
2.6.6, there you go.
So what's the comment?
it wasn't clear to me, we have multifamily, multi-story. And then we have multifamily, multi-story greater, and maybe it's just the first one needs to be multifamily 2 stories or less.
It says 3-story maximum on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well, but then it says multifamily, multi-story greater than 2 stories.
So it's 3 stories or more.
What's
Yeah.
what's the distinction between these two?
And that was my question.
Units per acre.
Well, I mean, I think originally you had these because one was rental and one was condominium, but it's really, we don't usually regulate based on the ownership of type of the building. It's based
Right.
on, so I was
Based on
like,
structures,
yeah, so I took out rental and condominium, and maybe that confused things because you were formerly saying, okay, multi-story, multi-family rentals, 3-story maximum, but if they're condominiums, then there's different rules. And so basically you're giving people a higher density if they're owners versus renters. That's what your former policy.
Yeah, and I don't think we want to do that.
No.
Yeah, and that's why I took them out. And
We've never
maybe
been
that
able to
didn't
that.
make it clear, but yeah. I mean, I guess, it's all right if you want to say, well, if we're going to be. Yeah, so basically what you're saying here is that this one you get 8 units per acre with a maximum of 20 units per building. So this one has more units per acre, but a smaller number. So the buildings would be smaller with a higher green space. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I'm just trying to figure out, this is the MC zone. So what, I guess,
Mixed-use commercial.
go back to,
I don't get.
what do you want to accomplish with multifamily in that zone? Let's start more basic. So you got all sorts of rules that you originally had for multifamily, whether they're townhouses or condominiums, detached dwellings, rentals, whatever. What I guess so.
And what do you mean? Because you say no greater, like, for instance, no greater than 20 dwelling units per building, and then 10 dwelling units per acre.
No,
So do you have to have the building on 2 acres?
well, it's not dwelling, units, 20 units, so each building is a dwelling unit that can have.
No. Each building might have multiple dwelling units in it. So this tells you
Oh, I got you.
the
Yep.
total number of units you're allowed per acre. This tells you how big each building can be, basically.
Got it.
So if you have one building with 20 units in it, it has to be placed on two acres.
3.
Okay, I'm getting there.
Well, 2.5.
Yeah.
Something, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's saying that, yes, you can build a building that's a 3-story maximum with a maximum of 20 units per building, but you can only have 8 dwelling units per acre, so it's however many acres that comes out to be, which I think is 2.5.
Would it be simpler to just say, I mean, I guess the question is, does it matter to you if it's 1 story or 2 story or more than 2 stories? I mean,
Well, I think it does because we worry about building heights, right?
So you have a
Right.
building height of 35 maximum.
Yeah.
This is
so I
where
mean,
you're
I don't know
saying
how you can get
low-income housing.
greater.
Yeah.
I don't know how these two are really different. I mean,
I
think
guess that's what I'm trying to say, yeah, is that I think we need to condense this to just multifamily, multi-story as a single line.
Right.
And we need to decide, that you've got conflicting restrictions
Right.
and dwelling units per acre.
How does Freese
How about-
Road? We just did a Freese Road thing for 5 and 9, and there were 3 stories. And do they have an acre or 2 acres there for their building? And are they gonna have 70% green space? We gotta make sure.
And that's a much
Right,
higher
that's its
district
own
of
section.
water and sewer.
That's a higher density district.
Higher density,
It's on municipal water and sewer.
right, but we don't want we don't want them to be illegal with this table, right?
Well, they
This
still
could
have to be.
be less density because of the septic and water on site.
Okay.
Okay, so
Um,
less dense. All
Could
right.
we go with 10 dwelling units per acre and then the restrictions under the 3-story maximum 60% lot coverage, maximum 20 units per building?
Why would we want to restrict it to
for fire,
For fire.
you can't
For
get
fire.
fire trucks.
Okay, is that local firemen, that's about what their hoses do?
They are now capable of getting up to 4, but
Oh,
that's
let's not
just,
stretch it, okay.
yeah.
But that's only Varna, right? That's not all the fire departments.
Well, actually, that's the Village of Dryden's
Village-
ladder truck.
Well, not the village, the Dryden Neptune Fire Company
Neptune,
has their truck that can do 4.
So,
But not every fire company in the area, not every fire company that covers the town of Dryden has one of those trucks.
Right. LA trucks every part of Dryden.
Right.
But yeah, it is stretching the resources, so there was a
Right.
reason for the 35-foot
Right.
height limit.
so 3-story. Well, Chuck, what do you
I-
think about low-income housing? What's gonna help us have low-income housing with this?
First of all, make it simpler.
That, but you also want to minimize vulnerability. And if the fire code,
Oh, I'm not talking that, I'm thinking just in general, what do you think about this?
Well, in this MC, so in the mixed commercial, so what I have to go back to our use table. Did we allow single family in the MC district?
Yes.
Okay. So you
I mean,
allow
actually, I think
4,
there might be a conflict there, but because this was in there, we've always allowed single family in MC. So maybe that's a correction in the use table that we have to make.
yeah,
When
because
there's a
I
conflict,
thought
we've always gone
we.
to allowing it.
I thought use table didn't have single family wasn't allowed in mixed use commercial.
Yeah, that's why I'm just going back and looking.
Okay, so we have to make that correction.
Dwelling, multifamily MC is this, yeah, it's allowed with a site plan review. Is that what you wanted? Oh, wait, no, we were
It's
looking at
multifamily.
single family
Single
is
family
not
is not
allowed.
allowed. According to the use table, single family is not allowed in MC.
Why
So
not?
So that's-
that last
that would
row
be a
could
P then.
disappear then.
That should be a P.
Oh, it should be a P.
Well, the question is, do you want single family in mixed use commercial?
If we allow multifamily, why wouldn't we allow single family?
Well, because then,
Because it's less
We want-
dense
we
and
want
you're not gonna
density.
get.
Right.
higher
Then you're-
density.
Okay.
You want
could-
higher density,
I-
a single families.
But you can have a single family in a shotgun house and it's dense.
Okay,
You know,
who's gonna raise their hand to live in there?
So, yeah, I mean, if by the time it's that, if somebody really wants to live in that area, it's probably going to be a small house to be low income. So, you know, why not let them?
Well, what if somebody buys a 2-acre lot in a mixed use commercial district and wants to put a single family home on it?
Right, you don't get the density on it.
You don't get the density.
Okay.
Well, why don't you say they can't? The maximum lot size for a single family is 1 acre or less.
Well, it
Well,
depends
that's what we
on,
want to get away
then
from.
it depends on the infrastructure that you have there.
We're
right?
talking about areas
Infrastructure,
for
yeah.
water and sewer that we want more development.
Right.
but you,
So in that case, the house could be limited to a half acre. They wanted to put a single family house on a half acre, hook up
That's still
water
a
and sewer.
big lot.
It is still a big one.
How about a quarter
In a
acre?
mixed commercial use.
How about making it just make this lot size the
Well,
size?
here, let's go back and read your definition of what a mixed-use commercial district is. It allows a mix of retail and service businesses, office buildings, and research and development businesses such as computer software, and equipment design businesses, as well as residential development. This district allows for mixed-use development. So it doesn't, this doesn't really say, I mean, to me, that definition is certainly more on the commercial than it is on the residential.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see the argument for not allowing single family homes because we want the density.
but traditionally we have allowed them.
There's
Well,
a
not
few-
according
there-
to-
you can
not
see that
according to
red
this.
on The map there is Route 13 corridor, basically, but there's some areas that are pretty far off the corridor that are in mixed use, like up Minia Road.
Right.
So we have allowed some single family homes in there using the dense bulletin area table. Because
Well,
when
you
there's a
would- this-
conflict in the law, I had to make one of them.
So we've had a conflict in the law all along.
Yeah.
So, and you're basically saying if someone wants to live in that area, they must be renters, right?
No,
No, there could be condos
Can be a condo.
or townhouses.
Or a townhouse.
Townhouse, okay. That's something.
well, and I think about the Route 13 corridor, there are a lot of single family homes in the Route 13 corridor.
There are.
And
Because
some
they're
of
there
those
first.
homes will ultimately be turned into storefronts or something if they're kept.
Right,
Uh,
so I think we've been allowing them.
I think
So
if
you want to, so then you want to change this to allow them with a P or some sort of review?
and restrict the lot size. Go ahead.
Well, I don't. think we can
If
do
they
that.
have water and sewer, the Route 13 corridor doesn't entirely have water and sewer.
No, most of it doesn't.
Most of it
And I
doesn't.
think most of it's gonna be the higher and better use will be commercial. And then people are not gonna really wanna live on a busy highway. So I think the only place single family homes are appropriate is those parts that are well off the Route 13 corridor are still in the red. So I don't think it'll be applied in many places.
So you think?
Or
it
do
should
you
be
want to
P?
change the red?
You think it should be a P?
Yeah, just to allow those that are far off the corridor to be,
I'm fine.
to have that option of single family homes.
And that's what we should resolve the conflict in the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
So if you want to allow them, this X has to go.
yes,
So what do you want it that as a permitted use or as a special use permit or what?
You might want the special use so you get to talk about it, don't you?
Do you wanna talk about single family homes at a town board level? I don't think so.
I don't think you want it as an SUP, but do you want a site plan review
How about that?
or no?
But that's still a lot.
Still seems like a lot of process for single family.
Set it
homes.
to P.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you put the C 270-6.8 on?
We'd have to look up. I don't know what the difference between 6.8 and 6.7 is.
6.7 is for the rentals to get higher density. 6.8 looks like a typo. I'm not sure. 6.8. Oh, 6.8 is this not allowed. So, so yeah, we don't currently allow the 6.7 to apply to the mixed use.
All right, so this should say nothing.
Yeah. Should be
Okay.
blank.
Okay.
Right, so now let's go back to the 6.6.
Oh, I see.
Okay. So I think where we ended up is using the 3-story, combining these rows with 10 dwelling units per acre maximum and 3-story maximum 60% lot coverage limit, maximum 20 units per building or series of buildings.
I'm good with that.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
And I understand this isn't the place to ask this, but when we're talking about this many housing units, would this be the place to say that we want at least 10% of them to be wheelchair accessible or something like that? Because, we certainly have a population that
Well,
needs accessible housing. I don't know if that matters at this point here.
Yeah, I'm not sure where the most appropriate place for that is. It's a good thing to insert somewhere in zoning, but I don't think you can do it that generally because there's topography that would allow some, it would be real expensive to put ADA compliant in some lots. So Nan, is there a better practice to follow for encouraging a certain
To
percentage?
require a ramp or something like that, because even a lot of places just have 2 stairs, but no ramp.
Well, you could just generally say that all multifamily dwellings have to be ADA accessible.
Or at least a percentage of them. I mean, if you build all these 3-story places, and none of them have, understandably, the second and third story may not be accessible, but if you have even a percentage of them would be helpful. I know
mean,
we're
I
seeing
guess that's
that with the Varna thing right now, where they're trying to create at least one ADA accessible house, and it's throwing things off because of they hadn't planned for that. So
I mean, I think that's a policy of the town. If you want to, you're basically saying that we're going to allow multi-family dwellings, but our performance expectation is that some percentage of them will have to be ADA accessible. So if you want to do that, that's a policy for the town to set.
Aren't these gonna require an SUP?
Yeah, so I'm thinking, if it goes to an SUP, we can do that.
Mixed use commercial,
Mixed use commercial multifamily, isn't that what, with an
that's
SUP?
probably an SUP, yeah.
yeah, because I don't think it's in there now that there's that expectation.
Yeah, so the town board would want something in writing to be able to
Right.
approach that during the SUP process.
I mean, it could be something that is more general that says, as part of a special use permit, the town board will require, ADA accessibility and leave it up to the town board to decide. Or you could specify it.
We talked about moving the SUP process. That's not part of this.
Yeah, that's not
It's
part of
just,
phase
site
one.
plan review for multifamily. And
All right, so that I was just wondering where to bring that in. If that it doesn't
Yeah.
sound like it's here, but it's something that I think we should at least have expectations, so people come with some sort of expectation that they should do
Yeah.
something if they're building a
Yeah.
60 apartments.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, generally, and I don't recall, most zoning laws have a special section just with development standards for multi-family developments in buildings, and it could go in there.
Oh, is it design standards? Is that
Yeah,
right?
it would be a
Could
design.
yeah,
It
put
would
into
be
the
a design
commercial
standard.
guidelines.
Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to create a rabbit hole. So
No, we should just look for the place to insert.
We just
that.
need to look for, I think we should put it somewhere, but yes, it's, yeah. It's site plan review, not SUP.
Mhm.
In mixed use commercial. But yes, we should have it somewhere.
thanks,
Percentage,
guys.
some code for number of accessible units.
So going back to this table, so we'll find a place for that.
Yep.
And then we'll consolidate these. You want 10 3-story max, 60% lot coverage, 20 units per building. So we'll
Right.
consolidate that. But what do you want to keep this 4 units per acre? So that's a quarter acre for single family. Is that what you want in that district?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and that's only gonna be allowed
That's
based
the
on whether
max.
or not they have quarter acres, whether or not they have public
Hmm.
utilities. If they don't have
So,
public utilities,
Do we have to have 2 lines, like one for if water and sewer, and then some other number if without?
well, I think dwelling units per acre has to be, how do we word it? Whatever the minimum for the health department is.
Subject to health department regulation.
Yeah, it's 1 acre minimum typically for septic.
Right.
We have 10,000 square foot requirement for when it's within, or quarter acres, basically the equivalent
Right.
for when it's in sewer and water districts.
Right, so how would this? I guess what I'm saying, it would, so you'd say 4.
It would be like 4 maximum.
Well, or just leave it at 4, and the fact is the health department constraints are gonna come into play.
Right, because even though this says 4, if
If
there's
they
no,
can't get-
if there's no
if they're
water in
approved,
sewer, they're not
doesn't matter.
gonna be able to do it.
Right.
And that would come up in the site plan review.
Do you
Yeah.
want to say
Yeah.
4 with adequate with public infrastructure?
Yeah. Or,
Then you wouldn't allow anything with the,
Say subject to health department regulation. That's what.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I agree that I think some kind of nod to that's really the maximum and you might not get that would be helpful.
I mean, that's true with all the roads,
Yeah.
right?
yeah,
But that's true
But
with,
what- most of the roads, well, yeah,
I mean, you could
We
put
could apply
that
that same
before the
footnote.
table,
Yeah, okay.
department needs an NT at the end. But if there's no water or sewer, you're probably not gonna get 8.
you're
So
not-
that actually could be
That's
dwelling
great.
units per acre, subject to health department.
Yeah, so you could put a little star and then, or yeah. Or put it
Yeah,
in,
put it up there.
or put it in the words before the table.
Yeah, something.
All right.
As a note, an asterisk or something, yeah. Just something to note it, because. Yeah, can you put 10 dwelling units per acre?
Right.
on-
You might not even get
water,
that,
septic,
right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's fine. Okay. I think that covered 6.6, right?
Yep.
I gotta go back to Cheryl's email. Where'd it go? I lost it. Oh, there it is. 279-1. Suggest deleting last sentence unless
Two
otherwise.
79.
270-9.1.
Oh,
Oh, you jumped way.
Oh, you went way ahead.
You went way
Sorry.
ahead.
Oh,
You weren't, we didn't get there yet.
oh, wait, then there's, let's go back. She's also got 276.1, that's the section we're in. Footnote states that accessory structures may be permitted in front yards provided placement is outside the required front setback.
okay, that's the ZBA.
read that again.
This 276.1.
Yep. Oh, here it says accessory structures may be permitted in front yards provided placement is outside the required front back. I think that was added because didn't we have a discussion about
This the ZBA wanted this.
yeah, that there's some very long, large lots that people aren't able to use the land in front when there's like a lot of space between the house and the road.
So when it says may be permitted, does that mean it's
You probably should say is permitted.
is permitted, not may be permitted?
Good point.
So they can put the pond.
Is that what we want to do? I know CBA is asking for it, but is that what we want to do? Do we want
Yeah,
anybody
so
to
many
build
cases where you
space?
do have a 400-foot driveway and they want to put the detached garage in front of the house. It seems like no harm, no foul. There's nobody else impacted.
I mean, I'd like this change because I'm considering building an external garage and I'd like to build it like this on my front.
I actually got my zoning variance. So I don't care. All I know is all of my neighbors thought it was stupid that I needed a variance.
Yes, that's fine. Yeah, so we should say, because it should be is, not may, right?
Yeah, she
Yes.
changed it.
Okay.
I
I
just-
think the original intent of this zoning was to not have your townhouse appearance, so keep houses and front porches to the
Right.
street.
Right,
Have all the accessory buildings at least behind the front.
right, right.
So it was a good intent, but we do run into probably half a dozen variances a year.
I think accessory structure should be singular because it is permitted, not are permitted. Yeah.
Oh, is or are, or
There
either,
needs
yes,
to be subject to verbal agreement.
Or better, maybe an accessory structure is permitted.
Yep,
There
yes,
you go.
yeah. And accessory structure is permitted, yes.
one and only one.
Okay. Anything else in 276 that section 6 that people had brought up? I think I got everything that people sent to me. on this. Chuck's,
So 7.3 is that use table for Varna.
we just need to align that with,
Yeah, you're gonna
we need to align that with the other.
alphabetize
Yeah,
it and align it with the other one. Yep.
So wait, what do you want me to do?
Well, you need to align it with the other use table, the main one.
So it's alphabetized and the rows.
Oh,
match.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think you need to change, do we need to change any of this stuff? No, right? Because Varna's Varna.
You just gotta alphabetize them.
Okay,
And there's new definitions that you gotta put
Right,
things in there.
we have to do some
Now, how
updating.
do we deal with when it talks about in the preface to the earlier use table that site plan review will apply to business uses, but not farm uses? Because that was really relied on the previous order of things, which started ag uses was the first two on the table, the ag use and farmstead, and then it goes into the business uses. And then
Yeah, we just.
Is agricultural use allowed in Varna?
We just.
according to this, it is.
based on it, yep.
Yep.
So yeah, I think Ray, the other one,
grouping.
we just alphabetized. We didn't split it up into categories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then that makes that earlier statement, prefacing statement of what, applying SPR to the business uses, it makes that harder to decipher. Because the way the table was structured was going ag use, business use, residential use.
Yeah, I don't think it was it was hard to find things. When you have an alphabetized definitions list. But you don't.
Okay, we could go back in and then put, I guess, notes next to them, which ones are the business uses.
Right.
And clarify it that way. Okay, that's another way of doing it.
Yeah. We don't need to go through this like we
No.
did the other one, right?
No.
I mean, there were some,
Short-term rentals are permitted, but they're subject to the short-term rental code. We have a short-term rental law.
yeah, so isn't that, so maybe we should reference that section?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there were some changes that were made.
Right.
I'm
assuming people didn't have problems with them. I see you've got these acre things, manufactured home community.
Yeah, I don't remember why I highlighted those. That might have been just my
Yeah.
revisit mark.
They're all minimum lot sizes.
Yeah, I don't remember why I had those highlighted. Nothing is popping up in my brain at the moment for
Right.
them. Okay, and the Varna density.
So that first cell there became multi-use. Or multi-types all in one box,
Mhm.
which is kind of what we were talking about earlier. They were
And
all-
here we did call out tiny home, but I think that was because we didn't get here yet to take it out.
But you got manufactured home in there and you got modular home, so. You take them all out or you leave them all in. To be consistent.
Yeah, whatever is going to be the clearest for you to administer. I don't.
All those things are considered single family homes, right?
Right,
Yeah.
but so is a cabin maybe, whatever. And they're not there. Or a condo.
Well, we have clustered
Townhouse.
cottage down here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, there's cottage and then you got a condo. I don't see it. Yeah.
Well, and should we be calling out condominiums versus rental apartments?
You know,
No.
how has it worked for you? I mean,
I don't use that category, so I don't think I can.
Yeah,
enforce it. No.
I would rather you not regulate by ownership, but
Yeah, I would say take out the condominium line.
And rental apartments.
Well, and just say. Is it
multifamily.
multifamily? It's just multifamily. And which density do we want to use?
Yeah.
Of those two? This is the same problem we had on that other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So do you want the
You want
higher
the higher
density?
density that you allow with condominiums? And why would condominiums be at a higher density than rentals?
They're probably trying
I
to.
think it's some
encourage
bias.
Oh, to encourage
it.
condominium?
Yeah, this was
Yes.
intensive zoning.
Yeah, yeah.
But what if you have a rental building that they want to turn into condominium?
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't recommend that I mean, pick one density that works and we just call it multifamily.
Is there a reason not to go with the higher density?
I don't think so.
That's what we did on the other one, was kind of went with the higher density.
Yeah.
The green development bonus, that's
Yep.
used for energy savings to
Yep.
try and incentivize that.
Yep.
The redevelopment bonus is technically to reuse brownfields.
Yep.
But honestly, it's been applied to almost everything. Because there's a way of rationalizing most of the lots in Varna are pretty dilapidated, and so when they put a multifamily up, it's usually a positive redevelopment, something better than what was there before.
Okay.
So you could almost roll that redevelopment bonus, since it's been given in almost every case in the last 10 years, put that into the given density, the density by right. Or use that bonus to incentivize a affordable housing.
Yeah. I mean, and certainly in Varna is one of the places where you would want to see that.
Yep, okay, so this is gonna be multifamily, we're gonna go with a higher density. Right,
So you're taking this line out?
take that line out.
There's a multifamily rental detached units in the last row. Does that just fall under multifamily?
I would just
That's
call
kind
it
of the
multi,
cottage.
I would just call it
development.
multifamily detached units, not
Yeah.
rental, take the word rental out.
Yeah.
I'll have to fix this table here.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
Funny weird thing hanging off here.
Yep,
And you want to increase the density for the multifamily detached.
I don't know, do we?
Seems like that could be a nice style of development.
6 dwelling units per acre.
6
Six detached units on an acre, that's
That's,
pretty tight, isn't it?
Yeah. But I think these small cottage developments are getting popular, as we've seen.
So should it be more than 6? Well,
So, but isn't townhouse and clustered cottage development the same thing as this?
And cluster cottage, yeah.
So these
Yeah,
are
I would say so.
these
put
are
it the same,
detached.
put it the same as that, so
or do we need to put it the same as that or just delete that line?
Yeah, do we need to delete this because it's covered here?
and then call that
Yeah.
let's call that one multifamily.
Well, you got
Multifamily detached units, like should
Well,
that one be called?
townhouses are not detached.
Right, that's why I didn't think
Right.
so.
right.
I think
So it
take clustered cottage out of that. And
You'll
use
put it
that
here.
density, and that would be, yes, clustered, yes.
Well, I gotta fix the
Yeah,
table.
yeah, you'll
here,
fix
but-
it, but that's the idea.
Okay.
But should we use the density, the same density as the townhouse?
Yeah, and a condominium is.
Yeah. I
Use the
think
same
we're trying
density,
to encourage.
so use the same densities as the townhouse line.
So if you have a townhouse. you
I mean, as originally structured, it was obvious that they were trying to discourage rentals, and discourage duplexes. Do you want to keep that same policy, or do you want to bring all multifamily up to the same potential density?
It's when you have living.
Yeah.
There's many living.
Although-
Discouraging rentals in a market where people can't afford to buy a house seems kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, and there's no more rental distinction. About it. But I mean, I'm just saying in general, the policy of this, what this was trying to drive was discouraging rentals, discouraging duplexes, encouraging multifamily development.
Okay,
So keeping with that, we can even just
Means that we
boost it a
call
little.
apartment.
and then if we go down through required green space, I don't think there's much more changes there, right? Oh, here we go. Those changes, nobody made comments on.
So I have one thing with that new row at the bottom. Can you just get rid of the apostrophe and spell out feet so it's consistent with everything else in the table?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. 27.7, 7.8, there's nothing new there. 279, Cheryl had a comment on 279. Oh no, was it 279?
Yeah, 9.1.
Oh, 279.1, got it, keep going. There's nothing here. 279.1.
Okay,
And
there.
in this one, footnote says, oh wait, sorry, suggest deleting the last sentence.
Which
Unless-
one?
All the way down the
Oh.
last line. Where is an accessory structure? Okay, unless
one?
otherwise permitted in this chapter, an accessory structure, since we've already agreed that accessory
Yes.
structures can be in the front yard.
Yep, get rid of that
Right.
line. There you
That's
go. All right, that's all the comments I have.
You can get rid of J.
Yep,
Two for post.
It's hanging
we are at 8:07. So for the next meeting, what do we? Section that we.
Well, let's see, we have, let me just flip through, we have, a few things here and there. Signs has a little
Oh, we are
bit.
covering signs?
Conservation
Unregistered
development, we did that already.
Parking.
Yep.
This looks like it could be a place to, no, never mind. Near the bottom then.
PUDs. I mean, there's a few little things here and there.
I thought there was another big section we had.
Well, we didn't, there's, what is this? This is site plan review.
Right,
I added in some other things to be, yeah, there's quite a bit in site. So I guess this would be the next big one. Site plan review and then.
and the modified site plan review, which is, what's the sections? 270.11?
11.
Well, let's just say
4.
270.11.
Yeah, 11, right. 11 has got the the modified site plan review is a big one. And then I added in some stuff into site plan or special use permit, which is 12.
Okay,
And that was just to bring it up to the standards from state town law.
got it.
Where did we put the battery storage, or was that as a standalone?
What?
The battery energy storage.
Where did we put that?
Oh, wait, battery, I just saw battery. Oh, here. 13.12. We added, so that would be another big one, 13.12.
Okay, so it was 270.11,
Yeah,
12,
11,
and
12 and
13.
13.
All right, so for the next, that's gonna be the agenda for the next meeting, is review those sections. If you have comments on them, ideally send them ahead of time. Or be ready to, because I don't, again, we don't want to go through it line by line, we just want to try to.
Can you name the sections again?
270-11, 12, and 13. And if there's any other pieces in between that you scan and you think they're relevant to this conversation, the phase we're in. Because remember, there's whole sections of this zoning that we're not looking at in this phase, right? Yep. Yep. Right, does that make sense?
And do you remember is the May 28th planning board meeting when NYSERDA is coming and talking about BESS? So people
Okay.
here wanted to educate themselves on BESS, that's
May 28th.
the next word coming.
Yep. Yep. You should be at the meeting.
I don't know where I'm gonna be on the 28th. I got my whole schedule.
I don't even necessarily need to be in the room, but.
Okay.
But you're you're on the planning board.
Yes, yes, planning board. And that's who's coming in?
Someone from NYSERDA to speak
NYSERDA.
about the revised guidance on BESS.
Is this the same presentation that they've given a couple of times now on Zoom?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it is.
Yep.
They've been doing it all over the state.
Yeah.
Okay.
So those will be the sections for next time. And we'll go from there.
How soon can we get the updated draft of this that I'm just looking at? Nan, you've made a lot
I
of
have-
changes and
Yeah, I mean, I have a few, I mean, I made a lot of the changes tonight as we went, but there's certainly some things to do. I'll try and
Doesn't
have
have to be-
it, certainly, I'll try and do it in like 2 weeks, so you have 2 weeks before your next meeting.
okay, perfect. Thanks.
Okay,
What's the status of the subdivision law?
conservation subdivision law.
Right, right.
So we have a draft that's been reviewed. I mean, the next steps in all of this is, and this is a question, is we could send the whole phase up to the planning board. We could send the whole phase 1 up to the town board for enactment. Although if you remember, we didn't do that for the data center law because there was the moratorium we had, so we sent the data center law up by itself. We could consider, right? We could consider
Talk about other
sending
pieces, sure.
we could consider sending the draft of the conservation subdivision law up section up to the town board to review and adopt. Or we could wait and send it all up with phase 1, so all phase 1 goes up together.
Phase 1 would be finished in what, 4 months, 5 months?
What?
That's why.
I was hoping to be done with it before now, but yeah, but
We're asking for the moratorium.
I mean, I guess there would be a question to the town board with this phase 1. Do we want to send it up in pieces or do we want to send it up all at once? I know what, I mean, the whole reason we broke out the one piece was because there was the moratorium on it, but like, what do people think?
Well, my preference would be, I mean, since we've got a conservation subdivision draft
Right.
ready. Enact it.
Okay.
So we're clear.
So here's what I would.
Yeah, well, in essence, the current application is is applying the conservation subdivision regulations already.
Right, because we can't change.
There was the proposal
Because
because
they
the
started.
moratorium that they're still dealing with to some extent. But if you put the subdivision law up and it passes, that pretty much takes care of the request for the moratorium, wouldn't it?
Or
Ray just answered that.
The ability to look at it more thoroughly for us. So it'd be nice if it didn't go up ahead of everything else.
Have you looked at the current application vis-a-vis the proposed conservation subdivision regs? 'Cause it
Yes.
seems like it's running along using those, even though they're not
Those
promulgated.
guidelines, but we're not sure how those guidelines work for the ag committee. So
In the future for
Right.
other
For,
ones.
for other
places.
possibilities coming down the road.
You're not sure how the proposed regs apply.
Will apply in the future.
Hmm.
You know, it's not just for this project, but how will it affect projects in the future?
Hmm.
Is what we were trying to, you know, get.
And that's what your maps that are coming, we're going to look at also,
Yeah,
right?
well, it's gonna help us make a decision, you know. And
It would
then,
show how much land is implicated by the potential consideration of moratorium.
So certainly waiting to put forth the subdivision law until we've been able to look at the maps would make
Would
sense.
be a whole lot nicer.
okay. Well, we won't do it this month then. Just checking.
So
Probably
people are
this
saying they
summer.
don't want it to go forward. The
Yeah.
conservation subdivision to go up
Immediately,
immediately.
but probably before.
Well, then what I
the
was,
section.
so what I will say is that, so
Maybe
again,
July.
for the next ZAG meeting. I would want everyone to go through the conservation subdivision.
Yeah.
Draft code as it is. And at the next meeting, we will make a decision, are we gonna send it up or
Well,
not?
we have to look at the maps. So when would we get?
Maybe
them?
it's not the-
We don't have them then.
What are the maps that you're talking, what maps are you talking about?
This is since there's a consideration of a moratorium on major subdivisions.
Okay,
Townwide, the maps are being generated to show. How much of the town would be affected by something that is putting a moratorium on development where there's prime soils.
okay,
So it's looking at. Yeah, the extent of prime soils, which in general is. They're scattered throughout the town. Certainly the Fall Creek Valley is the concentration area, but there's prime soils all over the place.
Those maps don't exist now.
They, in a very general way, we put some in our Dryden 2045,
Mhm.
so you can see a picture of the town on an 8.5 by 11, but that's really
Okay.
hard to see the true applications of it. So these are hopefully going to be a little higher level of detail.
But those maps don't make any difference to this conservation subdivision law.
Right. Because really our conservation subdivision law is meant to be applied in all districts.
right.
And the conservation subdivision law requires that the prime soils and soils of statewide significance be identified as part of the conservation inventory, as part of site inventory. And protected. You know, so I don't know that we need the maps to make this, but I guess what I'm saying is. Let's look through it one more time. Just to make sure that everybody is okay with it, and I don't expect there to be any changes next time when people are here, but if people have concerns, but then let's talk about. Pushing it up, because, you know, it is a relevant thing. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
So that would put it on next month's town board meeting, does that
Possibly, yeah.
sound reasonable? I mean, because if you adopt, at least getting it introduced. And then, because you're gonna have to have, if you want to adopt it, you're gonna have to have public hearings on it anyway and all that, right? You'll have to set public hearings and all that.
Yeah, that would be my preference. There's just a group that wants a moratorium instead. And so that's why we're doing the maps. To try to answer that question. Is this a smart thing to do?
Or should we just push it up as it is and then let the public hearings
Yeah,
put out anything?
it's intelligent before we push it up. I'm all for
Okay.
finding, knowing what you're doing.
You do, you have the draft accessible to you right now.
I asked for this to be printed because my eyes are not good on the computer for reading this stuff. So, and thank you for printing your department.
So,
So,
all right. So what I'm hearing is we don't want to push it up this month.
We just don't want it to wait until you're done with.
Well, it is good,
Let's
actually, well,
have
here's the point, it's not, it's the earliest we could send it up, because really it's a vote of the planning board to send it
Yeah.
up.
Right,
Which means the earliest we could send it up would be the May planning board meeting.
I think that's probably too soon, because the ag board's gonna wanna look at it in detail, right, with the maps.
It'd be nice too.
Yeah, I mean, that's the
Right.
idea of getting it
Okay,
all, everybody being able to have their say, and I'm sure the conservation board, which doesn't meet until the end of the month, would be able to see it with the maps. And we
would it be
like that.
helpful, Dan, to just distribute to the town board the draft as it is? The same, we're not officially pushing it up, but here's the draft if you want to see.
Yeah, I don't see why, I mean, that's public information.
Yep, okay.
So we should.
And it might have already been pushed
It
out.
might have already.
The draft is already to all the boards and the town board.
Yeah, I think we did, I think we did
that.
send it out, but we could do it again, is just send it out to the town board saying, this is what we're considering sending up. Yeah, I mean, you know, do you want, here's what it is, just for your information.
Okay.
And then we'll figure out when to actually send it up. But we will send it up separately than we won't wait till the end of phase one. to
No,
send it up.
don't.
Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem doing that. I just wasn't sure if there were strong feelings about trying to set up phase one altogether. But that's
Okay,
fine.
so in that transmittal email, I'll probably just go back a month and resend that one that
Yep.
forwarded to all the boards.
Yep.
And put on there that this will be discussed at the ZAG
Mhm.
June 4th meeting.
Right.
Okay.
And if we have a quorum, a planning board quorum, like we do tonight, we could actually vote at that meeting whether or not to send it up. That would be the June. What's the first Thursday in June? Is it third?
The fourth.
June 4th.
It'd be voted on by the ZAG. Oh, but if you had a quorum of the planning board.
If we have a quorum of the planning board, we could vote to send it up at that meeting.
Sure.
That would be the June 4th meeting. Okay, is that reasonable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I think everybody knows what they're doing, right? Thank you all. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nan.
Okay, bye-bye. I'll get stuff to you as soon as I can.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Already, we go conference. And he said, oh, I know Dan. She said, Dan,
Stop recording.
He said Dan is.
you did. I said, I know about Dan.
Well, Cosmopolitan.